Hey everyone, so we got our inspection yesterday afternoon on our foundation, all the steel and all of our hardware, our hold downs and anchor bolts and everything. So let me flip you around. I'll just walk you through this foundation, and then if you have any questions about anything that you see here or something that may be particular to your project, go ahead and post them below and I'll get back. So this project is built in the backyard. There's the main house here in Barrio Logan, San Diego. We have an alley right here, so we're sitting about 7 feet back from the alley, little patio, and then you can see we got quite an elevation change because we're a little bit on a slope here. So we set up 3 2x8s along those back walls. Had to brace them up real good. And so the idea is we pour this, we're gonna pour it in 2 levels. We'll first pour up to about the bottom of this upper 2x8. So we'll get all the footings going all the way around. And that's gonna take the most good part of 1 truck. And then we'll start pouring on that end, the slab on grade, and coming this way. This engineer called out a 15 by 15 footing. So what that means, 15 inches wide, and then at least 15 inches into native soil. So depending on your elevations, like your final elevations, we're obviously much deeper than 15 inches deep, but that's the minimum. So we go 15 inches into native soil, and then we have to go up from there. So we end up having about a 28-inch foundation on that wall there. And then you can see we're all number 4 steel, so 1/2-inch steel on the grid. We've got 2 number 4s, 1/2-inch steel right down here on the bottom, sitting on 3-inch dobies. So make sure that we're out of the dirt. Tomorrow morning before we pour, we're gonna have to go through this whole foundation, make sure that everything's clean. And then these 2 rebars there, number 4s, are also part of the foundation or the footing. And then our slab on grade starts up here, 16 on center. So pretty beefy foundation for a small 1-story, but that's how the engineer drew it up. We have 17 HDU 2s. So let me see if I can get you a shot of one here. See all our hold downs and HDUs in the corner. So you see these long ones right here. That's your HDU, which is a hold down that is screwed to your posts or your double 2x. So everywhere that you got a shear wall on each end, here our shear wall goes from here to here. So we have 2 HDUs, and then these 2 in the middle are hold downs, because your hold downs do not substitute for anchor bolts, right? So sorry, these hold downs do not substitute for an anchor bolt. So you're gonna have to have your hold down for the post, and then within 12 inches of the end of your plate, so 4 is a minimum, 12 is a maximum, you gotta have 1 anchor bolt. These are 5/8 by 10, so you gotta be at least 7 inches into the concrete according to our engineering. And then you can see all the way around, so we got 17 of these HDUs going all the way around for our shear walls. And then we have our anchor bolts, our 5/8 galvanized anchor bolts, minimum of 48 inches, or sorry, maximum of 48 inches. So you got to have one at least every 48 inches, and then you got to have 2 on every plate. So let me show you a small plate, okay, right here in the corner. So here's our hold down anchor for the post. Then we've got our first anchor bolt there, our second anchor bolt right here, and then our plate ends about right here, because that's where our door starts going that way. So you gotta make sure that you have 2 anchor bolts per plate. They can't be more than 12 inches away from the edge of the plate, like any splice. So here's an example of that. We're going to cut the plate right here around the plumbing and cut it right there. So here's our anchor bolt within 4 to 12 inches of that splice, and here's our anchor bolt here within 4 to 8 inches of that splice. So just make sure that you get all your anchor bolts and hold downs in the right spot, and then you won't have any issues. Our inspector was actually pretty interested in locating every hold down, so they're not always like that. Sometimes they just show up, they glance around, they don't look at your plans, but he looked at ours. Here we've got a post that goes up right in the middle of the structure, holding up the roof, the ridge beam. So we've got this 24 by 24 footing right here. There's an anchor bolt hold down right there, or sorry, just an anchor bolt, and then we got one over there, and then we'll shoot this center down with hilty shots in the middle because it's not a bearing wall, but this right here is, because there'll be a 4x6 post underneath that. So we're gonna call it a day, and tomorrow bright and early we'll get here, get set up with our pumper. We've got a big rock pump and about 18 yards of mix because we got so much footing here. But so we'll go ahead and get some footage of that. I'll post it along with the rest of this fountain.